Well, I shouldn't be. In fact, I thought last night it ended because last night I was in Louisiana, where we're going to hopefully elect a great governor, Republican governor, and I was getting off the plane and they handed me a statement that was just made by the foreign minister and president of the Ukraine. And Ukraine, they came out loud and clear that there was no linkage whatsoever, not even a little bit. And you saw it, you all saw it. I said, oh, well, that ends the impeachment. And you people don't even report it. In the history of our country, there has never been a disgrace like what's going on right now. So you know what? I have the right to speak. I have freedom of speech, just as other people do. But they've taken away the Republicans' rights. And I watched today as certain very talented people wanted to ask questions, and they weren't even allowed to ask questions. Republicans, they weren't allowed to ask questions. It's a very sad thing.
What do you say to Democrats that say you were witness tampering this morning when you made that tweet?
You don't want to talk about transparency? You know, I'll talk about transparency. I like transparency here, and I'm the most transparent president in history. And I'll tell you about what tampering is. Tampering is when a guy like Shifty Schiff doesn't let us have lawyers. Tampering is when Schiff doesn't let us have witnesses, doesn't let us speak. I've been watching today. For the first time, I started watching, and it's really sad when you see people not allowed to ask questions. It's totally, nobody's ever had such horrible due process. There was no due process. And I think it's considered a joke all over Washington and all over the world. The Republicans are given no due process whatsoever. We're not allowed to do anything. It's a disgrace what's happening. But you know what? The American public understands it, and that's why the poll numbers are so good, and that's why other things are so good. What they're doing in Washington with that hearing, and by the way, it's a political process. It's not a legal process. So if I have somebody saying I'm allowed to speak up, if somebody says about me, we're not allowed to have any kind of representation, we're not allowed to have almost anything, and nobody's seen anything like it. The Democrat Party has gone completely insane. First, they engineered the Russia hoax. That was a total hoax. The single greatest lies ever foisted upon the American people. Then the Mueller witch hunt. It never ended. And now corrupt politicians Nancy Pelosi and Shifty Adam Schiff, Shifty, and the media are continuing with the deranged impeachment witch hunt. This is one I never thought I'd be involved in. The word impeachment, to me, it's a dirty word. When you talk about the impeachment hoax, it's a hoax because the letter was perfect. What wasn't perfect is, and all you have to do is take a look at the letter, which is transcribed. They transcribed what happened on a very good phone conversation. I call it a perfect conversation because it was totally appropriate, very good, and everybody's saying it. Anybody that reads that letter, which is basically what happened on that conversation with the president of Ukraine. So the impeachment thing is a hoax. Now, whether or not they try pulling it off, it would be a disgrace. I think it would be. You can't impeach a president who did nothing wrong. You can't impeach a president that has the greatest economy in the history of our nation. You can't impeach a president that has unemployment numbers historic. Never have so many people been working, both employment and unemployment, who's rebuilt our military, who's taken care of our vets. No, they haven't treated me properly. I pay millions of taxes, millions and millions of dollars in New York, and they've never treated me, you know, since I became president. They just haven't treated, I think, the office with the kind of respect. And I don't mind paying the taxes. New York is a very expensive place to live, but many bad things are happening in New York.